Hi guys, welcome back to the FM Recruiter. I'm Paul. Pleasure to have you here again. Now, today's tactic tester, we are reviewing the Arsene Wenger Invincibles by, yet again, Josh Daly. Josh makes tons and tons of tactics, and they are all really, really fantastic, detailed breakdowns of them. So, let's see how we get on. We'll do the usual 3 teams tested. Here we go. All right then, guys, and what better team to test this tactic with than Arsenal? It only seems just that the Premier League side we use in this episode is the Gunners. Simple as that, really, isn't it? So let's have a look at the tactic. It is a flat 4-4-2. Amazing when you think back that it wasn't that long ago. This is what teams used, and now it's 5-3-2, 4-4. 4, whatever you want to, some teams play without a striker. It's ridiculous to think how tactics have evolved in just the last 10 years. But we're going to go back to an old traditional 4-4-2 because that is what this tactic is set out to do. Now, let's have a look. We have a mentality of positive. So I remember the Arsenal days. I'm old enough to remember the Invincibles. They weren't an all-out attack team. They were a break you down and make sure that they kind of beat you into submission style of football, and they were so good at it. In possession of the ball, we're looking to work the ball into the box. The big criticism everybody used to have of that Arsenal side, and the subsequent Arsenal sides after it with the way they played, is that he always played one too many passes. They always tried to walk the ball in. So that is probably what you're going to see in this tactic quite a lot as well. But we do play at a high tempo with slightly shorter passing, which means we will go long when we need to. We're going to play out of defence and focus on our wings, and we're also going to pass into space. So the idea would be to, play it in behind the fullbacks, get the crosses into the box for our strikers to get on the end of. When we're in transition, we're not going to counter-press or regroup. So we're going to do what is appropriate at the time. We're going to allow the players to react. But we are going to counter, and we're going to counter quickly when we do get the ball back. And I think that's really key because especially back when this tactic was being used in the Premier League, a lot of teams couldn't cope with that. Our possession, it's a high press, so we do meet them up top, and we do step up more often. There is the old joke of the Arsenal offside line, which was quite famous for being the go-to offside trap to use. But if you look, we don't tell them to stay on the feet or get stuck in. Again, we're trusting our players rather than giving them too many instructions. It's keep it simple, keep it precise, and keep it to the only information you want your players to have. Now, in terms of the tactical setup, we're having a sweeper keeper who's going to take more risks. So the idea of that sweeper keeper is if the ball goes over the top, if these 2 centre-backs here can't mop it up, he's going to come out and meet the attackers head on. It will cause you to concede a few goals here and there, but if you've got a good enough goalkeeper and good enough centre-backs, it shouldn't happen all that often. Your wing-backs are set to automatic, so they are going to run wide with the ball, which is a normal, it's a default instruction, it can't be removed, but we are setting them up to cross the ball to the centre. And the reason for that is, again, we're going to have strikers up front who are hopefully going to get on the end of our crosses. You've got one ball playing centre-back who's going to look to get forward, dribble more with the ball, but he's also going to mark tighter on defence. So we are going to be shirt tight, or touch tight as the saying is, meaning that we're not allowing the strikers or the attacking midfielders to breathe, to have any space on the ball. Your central defender, who is actually set to defend, doesn't have any additional instructions on. He just has the basic out of the box, shoot less often, dribble less, and hold your position. His role is solely to defend. If he gets the ball, he plays it to his wing back or he plays it to the other central defender. He does nothing apart from tackle, clear crosses, and that's it, and play offside. So your winger on the right is just set to a winger with an instruction of attack. Now, again, it's default instructions such as dribble more, run wide with the ball. And again, his crosses are aiming for the centre. So you need to have 2 strikers who can get on the end of a cross in this tactic. Next to him, you have your ball-winning midfielder set to defend. So again, he is just going to sit. He's going to hold position. Think Patrick Vieira when he was in this team. Just sat. He was the enforcer, and that's what this role is going to be. Again, no additional instructions, just the defaults that come with the ball-winning midfielder defence straight out of the box. Next to him, then, we have the roaming playmaker. This is going to be your guy who is going to pick apart the other team's defense. So he's not going to be, essentially, he won't be your left-sided central midfielder. Your ball-winning midfielder will end up playing more here, really, because he's going to be more located in the centre. And what you'll find with your roaming playmaker is he will be he'll be everywhere. As he's being moved around the screen now, this is where he will be. His heat map after every game would be interesting to look at, because whoever plays in that position has to have good stamina, good awareness, good creativity, a good first touch. They've got to be your best midfielder. If you put anybody in there who's lacking in one of those traits, then you're going to struggle, because they won't be able to get back on defence and they won't be able to create anything either. So you're just putting a dead duck in that position. The winger on the left is an inverted winger, so they're going to pass it shorter, looking to link with that roaming playmaker. Again, they're going to aim their crosses to the centre. Now, normally with an inverted winger on Football Manager, you will have them as an attacking option to score more goals, because they're going to be predominantly right-footed and cutting inside. However, we have set them up, or Josh has set them up, should I say, with an instruction to shoot less often. So while they are cutting inside, what they are looking to do is create space. And create space for that roaming playmaker or your two strikers, dragging the defenders away from those players, allowing them to cause trouble. So it's just putting another body into the mix to create confusion and to cause the opposition defence to have to think and to have to react to yet another player in a dangerous area. When we go up to our strikers, you have your deep lying forward. Now this is going to be your link between the midfield and the attack. He's essentially going to be sitting more here. He's set up with a support option, and if you look, it's roam from position. So he's not going to stay as a striker. He is going to look to drop in to your attacking midfield role, probably drift out to the wing every now and then. But his idea will be to get the ball and look to play it into his partner, which is the advanced forward attack. Their job in this team is a bit like the central defender, his only job is to defend. The advanced forward, his only job is to put the ball in the back of the net and score. That's it. You don't want anything else from him. He's to stay slightly wider on the left, but he is going to be looking to shoot more and get into those channels. So what you'll find is when this inverted winger comes in here, and he's drifting around and he's dropped off, he's going to come out this way. And that's what you're looking for that player to do, to drift out to the wings. He'll cut inside here, create a bit of confusion to which player are we marking. That is the idea behind the tactic. Now, whether it works or not, it is a different matter, but we're going to find out. So, as always, we're going to do it with three teams. Arsenal, Wigan, and Barrow. We're going to simulate it. So, I don't play through the seasons. It would take me forever to play 3 seasons, and unfortunately, with me, I'm a tinkerer, so I like to adjust my tactics game by game, and I don't want to do that. It's not a fair experiment. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up, and the only instruction that my assistant manager is going to have in each of the 3 teams, as in the other videos, is to play this tactic. That's it. We're not going to give anything else, and we're not going to sign anybody for obvious reasons. Now, if at any point we get sacked, that simulation stops right there. As you've seen in previous videos, we have been sacked multiple times with Manchester City, which we probably will never use again for a tactics tester video because they are just dreadful when it comes to it, and I don't know why. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it today. Let's see how we get on. We're going to do the Arsenal save now, and then I'll give you a review of it, and then we'll do Wigan and so on. So let's see how we got on with Arsenal. All right then, so the Arsenal season has come to an end, and it came to an end in April. Now, the reason for that is we were sacked. Quite surprisingly, actually, because we sit in 5th, 51 points. We're only 2 points behind Manchester City in 4th, and we've got a game in hand. So the question is why we were sacked. Let's have a look at a couple of the stats. Gabriel Jesus is the league top scorer with 22 goals. He's also the second highest rated player in the league. He's had the most amount of the matches. And so actually, in terms of Jesus, we've had a good season, but let's have a look at what happened with Arsenal. So over the course of the season, 38 games, Jesus has scored 30 goals, which is really, really impressive for a player who actually isn't all that highly rated. Martinelli, who was playing up front with him, got 11 goals, and off the bench, Eddie Nketiah has also scored 11 goals. Assists-wise, Odegaard 14 and Bukayo Saka scored 10. Reece Nelson on the right also got 8 goals and 8 assists in 38 games. That is really impressive. Now, here is the shocking thing. Defensively, this tactic did not work with Arsenal. We'd actually conceded 46 goals in just 29 games, or at least Aaron Ramsdale had in the league. He'd actually conceded 60 goals over the course of the season in 42 games. 7 in the Champions League, 2 in the FA Cup, 5 in the Carabao Cup. So defensively, the tactic was obviously lacking a little bit. Now, there were a couple of results that you wouldn't expect. Shock results, if you like. Losing 3-1 to Fulham is one. 5-1 to Liverpool. At Anfield, and you know this Liverpool team, I think, are overrated on this game quite highly. There was one that really stood out for me, however, and it was Crystal Palace 4-2 away. Yes, Gabriel was sent off after 55 minutes, which obviously makes a massive, massive impact when you consider that 3 of their goals came after that red card. So it obviously had a big impact. We also lost 2-1 to Nottingham Forest. So, you know, realistically, there were too many shock results. And I think losing 2-0 to Chelsea, which was our last game on the 1st of April, was the real kind of shocker. So, I mean, for me, this tactic has worked. I actually think the sacking is quite harsh because Arsenal aren't a top 4 team. But obviously the goal is to get into top 4. Now, there is nothing saying that wouldn't have been achieved. So I don't know why the board have seen fit to sack. It could be, though, because if we go back to the schedule, we go all the way down. We are still in the Europa League. We've just beat Milan on penalties. We're still in the FA Cup, I think. Oh, no, we're not. Sorry, we lost to Sheffield United in the FA Cup on penalties, which isn't good at home after beating Derby 7-0 in the round before. So I actually think the sacking's quite harsh, but the board will act the way they want. So let's see how we got on with Wigan and see if they had any more luck than we did as Arsenal. Let's see if we can see the season out. All right, then, guys, so we've just finished the Wigan save, and let's have a look what happened. So at the start of the season, we were told we had to avoid relegation. Now, that is what we were trying to do. In terms of our attacking play, we just didn't score goals. Callum Lang was our top scorer with 10. Nathan Broadhead, who's on loan, got 7. Ben Amos had a horror of a season, conceding 66 league goals, 70 over the whole season. And unfortunately, we didn't meet Wigan's, which it was to avoid relegation. Unfortunately, we actually got relegated on the last day. We finished 22nd, 2 points behind Blackburn, which really is disappointing. When you look at the results, though, we were so inconsistent over the course of the season. We'd win one, we'd lose one. We had 4 all draws. It was just up and down all season. It just didn't work with Wigan. But we got to see the season out. And you know what? The board didn't sack us. They obviously appreciated the style of football we were playing. The fans were, you know, okay-ish. But we've just got to, you know, they'll have to bounce back. So we've got one team left to try this with, and that's Barrow. Let's see how we get on. All right, so our season with Barrow has now finished. Now, obviously, bear in mind, I've said it in previous videos, Barrow are 250 to 1 to win League 2 and are predicted to finish rock bottom, get relegated, and completely struggle. However, this tactic worked with Barrow. So they finished 13th, 60 points. They amassed 15 wins, 15 draws, 16 defeats, finished with a negative goal difference of 2. So that's not bad, really, when you consider they are predicted to finish 24th, not trouble anybody, and just go down to the National League with a whimper. So it worked. Let's have a look at the squad. And let's go quick pick on what was on the last one. We can't do it because obviously they're all on holiday. Of course they are. So let's have a look at the last game. The last game we played of the season was a 2-2 draw against Stevenage. Right, let's go back to the squad for a second and let's go goals. So Benny Smalls, Braithwaite, weighing in with 21 goals. David Moyer got 17 and Josh Gordon 13. So actually, the front three you would be expecting to play in this, in this formation really worked. Paul Farman, as always, is the goalie for Barrow. He actually conceded 71 goals over the course of the season. I swear this guy concedes goals like nobody else. In terms of the data hub, we weren't actually too bad. We averaged 13 shots a game, and we were expected goals were more than the league average. So, you know, we actually averaged more goals per the league as well. So, with Barrow, it worked. Arsenal, I think it was a harsh sacking, and Wigan, they didn't sack us either. They were quite happy with the way we played. So, all in all, it's a good tactic. Yes, you will need the players to fit it, and it will need some tweaks. But you know what? I reckon you'd get it. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. And I think this tactic will be successful if you build your squad around it. You're just going to have to put up with some, you know, results that are a little bit out of the blue. 4-3 against Crawley, for example. 3-2 to loss to Northampton. We lost 6-1 to Man United under 21s, which, you know, that happens. So these things do happen. 4-1 against Wimbledon. These things will happen. We actually lost 4-2 to Stockport, who'd just been promoted, which is shocking. But anyway, yeah, give it a download. The link is in the bio. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Remember, if you have, hit that big thumbs up. And I will see you in the very next episode of Tactics Testers. And remember to check out Welcome to Wrexham. We've also got a brand new series. Grassroots to Glory is launching next week. So make sure you check that out. And we'll be going from the non-league with no coaching badges and seeing how far we can take it. I'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.